So this is for the Willys page. This is how to fix if you stretch out or damage or misshape the end of your steering column in the process of getting the wheel off, which I did. This is how I fixed that myself, and it worked perfectly for me. We'll start with, this is how I got the steering wheel off originally. I made this puller, which bolts on behind, and you hook your pulley puller to it, crank it down, and then you got to smack the end of this with something sharply, a hammer, and that will break the steering wheel free. That's worked on 2 different very rusty rigs for me. This I put right down here, being stupid, didn't think about it, and you can avoid all this mess if you just leave a nut partially on so that it protects the end of the threads from stretching out. Then it's not going to do anything. Even if it still goes down in there, I just did it earlier on that parts rig. It came off kind of hard, but it resized the threads on its way off. Anyway, this was stretched to where you could see that the end of it was bulged. And I took the extra steering wheel nut that I had from the other one. It's a little thinner than this one, which is best, honestly. I cut a slit in it with the angle grinder, and I hammered that open, probably about 2 or 3 times wider than it is now, so that it could get over the damaged part. With a little bit of light filing, I got it to thread on, and once it had started, I used the next size up socket, because it was stretched, and hand tightened it down onto the bottom all the way down. Once it's on there, you take your giant Tractor Supply vice grips and squeeze it so that it squeezes the gap closed some of the way on it. And then you can even take this and tighten this handle part up, make it even tighter. And then you turn it back off. And I did it incrementally 3 or 4 times. And you could see it squeezing this and cutting a little material out in the gap. And after 3 or 4 times of doing that, the original steering wheel nut goes right back on. Didn't have to replace the column or do anything. Didn't have to buy any special tool for it. And miraculously fixed my mistake. But if you're going to use a pulley puller, leave the nut on partially. Get it up enough so there's a gap so you can see it the steering wheel come loose. But don't stretch that out in the first place. Is the easiest thing to do.